My name is Eduardo Mediero. I'm the director of the Madrid-based architecture office Hanghar. It's a small boutique office in the city of Madrid. Our work revolves mostly around topics of domesticity and residential. The apartment is located in a 1970s building in the neighborhood of Almagro in the city of Madrid. It's a quite vibrant neighborhood because it's in between many interesting sort of hotspots of the city. And the interesting thing about the building we're located is that we're right across from a 19th century monastery. The monastery is 3 stories high and the apartment is located on the 5th floor, which that means that we have uninterrupted views of the city skyline, of the roofscapes of the nearby buildings, and more importantly, we have great views of the sky. The apartment is roughly 50 square meters. The original layout of the apartment had 2 very small triangular terraces that we had to incorporate into the apartment in order to maximize the space. When we did so, we incorporated these very large 7-meter long window that brings tons of light into the apartment and sort of amplifies the space. I always say that the views of the apartment are half of the project. The apartment was designed for my partner and myself. So when we entered the apartment, we found a sort of a very typical 1970s distribution. Hardly partitioned, very heavy on materiality, very heavy on sort of cabinetry, with lots of walls and elements that were blocking light from coming into the apartment. So the first thing that we did, or we wanted to do, was to start from scratch. There was no real value for us to keep the original layout of the apartment. Here we're right in the middle of the studiolo, this deep green MDF cabinet that holds both the storage of the apartment but also the sleeping space. When we designed this little room that it's halfway between furniture and architecture, we inspired ourselves with Renaissance Italian study rooms, these small spaces of retreat inside of palazzos and castles in which people would retire themselves to reflect, to rest, and to sort of get away from the bustle of the everyday life, right? These are the cabinets that disclose of the apartment's appliances, storage, and so on. We have the sort of fridge here, oven, we have some extra storage here. What is nice about these cabinets is that they manage to sort of structure the space at the same time that they're also hiding the kitchen, right? The kitchen's a little less obvious. What is interesting also about this little space is that by using these mirrors over here, we're able to not only again conceal part of the apartment storage, but also amplify the space, right? And that also allows more lights to come into the apartment and brighten up the space. When we designed the apartment, we knew that we wanted to use this apartment as a place for gatherings, events, shootings, dinners, and so on. So we wanted a very flexible space, very empty, decorated with a few pieces that we've been collecting over the years, that we could transform very easily and make all of these events and dinners happen. We wanted to use this project as an opportunity for material experimentation, but there are materials that are not typically associated to sort of residential projects. For example, the floor is covered in relie rubber floor, which is a very cheap material that it's tend to be used in high transit places and airport fingers, buses, and so on, right? But it's a floor that it's tremendously interesting, has tons of reflection, it's very comfortable to walk in. The cabinet, it's made of waterproof MDF, a material that it's sort of very raw and it's not supposed to be sort of seen because you tend to paint over it or cover it. We expose it as it is. The ceiling, for example, it's made of deployable galvanized profiles that are normally used for office buildings or for terraces. We used industrial kitchen cabinets for the kitchen, parking lights for the lighting, or even the bathroom, the sink was bought through a sort of sports facilities manufacturer. The final result is a very bright, very ample apartment in which you don't really feel that you're in a tight, small space. Each of the areas are sort of visually and spatially connected with one another. There are no physical partitions, there are no walls, there are no doors. Everything is sort of part of the same space. We're really excited about living in this apartment. Not because it's a pure reflection of our interests and values. It's also a place in which we can invite people over, host events, extend sort of the realm of the apartment beyond just the typical sort of private space into a much more public realm. And that is something that really excites us.